Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're in for a treat because I get to show you a trail that is halfway across the world from me in one of the most historically significant regions of the planet. I was lucky enough to spend a few days in Israel in December. Once I knew I was going, I made sure to arrive one day before I had to get a ride in. Being so far away and for a single day, I decided to look for a guided ride and a bike over there instead of traveling with mine. After a bit of searching, I found Tal from Sababike who suggested we ride the sugar trail and set me up with an awesome bike for the day.
This we don't have here usually. This is like rare conditions.
It's usually sandy.
It's like, like a bit loose. This is amazing.
This area, being the desert and all, doesn't get much rain. The few days before I had a ride were pretty rain heavy, so it seemed I lucked out with awesome conditions as the sand was super hard packed with awesome grip. But before we keep going, let me give you some context. The Sugar Trail is located in the northern Judean desert between Jerusalem and the Dead Sea. Historically, it was a trade route used to move resources between both spots. Today, it's an awesome desert ride with much more to offer than just the riding.
These are Bedouin settlements. The Bedouin are nomadic tribes. They apparently don't move around that much anymore. They've become more sedentary, but they still move around a little bit. And check that out, those are camels in the distance.
Of course, in the GoPro they're tiny little dots, but to me it was probably the first time seeing camels in nature. It was fascinating to me to see the Bedouins, who usually live off sheep and goat, herding them through the middle of the desert, simultaneously being so close to the city of Jerusalem but in complete remoteness.
Coffee from Bedouin?
What do you want?
We stopped briefly for Tal to chat with the Bedouin and for a quick coffee, which I didn't record as I wasn't sure of the local customs. It was super interesting to see this young kid make coffee on an open fire surrounded by his herd and a few of his dogs. But that's not why you're here, so let's get back to the riding. Just a few meters ahead, we were faced with the only serious climb of the ride. It was technically not bad, but boy was it steep. Apparently when it hasn't rained in a while, it's quite challenging to get all the way up in a single go.
Conditions must be amazing because the grip is just great.
Once we got to the top, we were greeted by an amazing panoramic view.
Let's start from the Dead Sea's east. So all those mountains are Jordan. The valley is the Jordan Valley. It's also called the Syrian African Rift. So it goes from Syria, between Syria and Lebanon, down through Israel, between Israel and Jordan, then it becomes the Red Sea.
After a quick snack break and a few more stories, which I'll leave for the people who actually go on the ride with Tal, we started to head down towards the Dead Sea. This was the only spot that had huge high-consequence exposure in the ride, and I was therefore asked to walk just a few of the steps as they were indeed quite high consequence. After seeing them, I would have walked even if not asked. They were rideable. It was just a really long way down if you messed up.
Yeah, when you look at it from here, it does look pretty sketchy.
After that short technical section, the trail really opens up and lends itself to much higher speeds.
It's chunky. This has been really nice so far. Got a lot of non-mountain biking fun as well. It's very pretty. Culturally, it's amazing. Now this awesome riding. It's pretty chunky.
One of the funny things about desert riding in video is that since there's no close reference point like trees, sense of speed is diminished greatly. As I was reviewing this video, I remember feeling like I was booking, and this looks so slow. Anyhow, what I want to convey is that if you get to ride this section, it'll feel much faster than it looks here.
That rear brake is a little bit annoying. If you haven't noticed, I'm riding a Commensal Meta AM 160mm lyric up on front. Lots of fun on this bike. Talk about chunk.
Of course, it's not a complete ride if no one has a mechanical, right? After a rocky descent, I dropped the chain, and somehow it managed to loop itself around the cassette twice.
Wait up, I dropped the chain. What the hell happened?
In what has been the weirdest chain tangle I've ever seen, we ended up having to take off the wheel to untangle everything. Thankfully, neither the chain nor any spokes had broken. It was a quick fix and we managed to get back on the way. The next section traverses an area that quite obviously has a lot of water flow during the rains. This whole area is actually quite dangerous when raining. The quick loss of elevation combined with the fact that the soil doesn't absorb water quickly makes it fast moving, and the wadis, which are similar to what we call ravines that flow into washes, quickly merge water from various sources into a single stream, leading to flash floods in certain spots.
This is one of the camps, like Bedouin camps, where they won't live here the whole time. They can come here, spend a night or a day or a few limited time with the animals. They have like a pen there. They use the,
So like a cave kind of thing there?
yeah, and they use a fence, so half of it is fenced. So again, they have these options to move around, but stay the night here or...
We continued to traverse over the river until eventually crossing the ridge into another wadi which had a very cool super steep rock slab type area.
This is very cool. It's super steep. Yeah, amazing grip actually. No.
I unfortunately messed that up right at the end and I couldn't manage to get back on the bike, so I walked that quick little spot and then rode all the way down to the wadi. From there on, we had to push our bikes up a tiny little section to cross over into a separate ridge. There were a few spots around here that were more easily walked than ridden. Once again, it wasn't really about it being impossible, it was just really high consequence if you clipped a pedal somewhere. After this ridge, we came to what would turn out to be my favorite section of the trail. A perfect mixture of technicality and speed. Rocky enough to keep you on your toes, but not enough to suckle your speed away.
Nice. This ravine is super cool. And I lost my line there.
An area full of ravines and steps that seem to have been formed by years of water damage makes some of the most unique terrain I've ever ridden. Some sections felt like what I'd expect Curiosity to find on Mars.
Fun little steps. Nice. Fun little drop. Nice.
Remember some of those bike-wide ravines? Well, these guys in that car were expecting to climb them somehow. We stopped and told them that they weren't getting much further, but they insisted on pushing on, so we didn't stick around to see them get stuck.
Yeah, they were not gonna make it up that.
Just a few yards ahead, we got to one of the things that blew my mind the most.
We just passed my zero,
Oh,
so sea level.
that's very cool.
Being at sea level with no water in sight. See, this ride started at 1,700 feet and ended at minus 800 feet. That's 800 feet below sea level. We didn't make it all the way to the Dead Sea, but that's at minus 1,400 feet, which is the lowest point on Earth to be on land.
It's so cool how open it is.
As the trail started to come to an end, we were greeted by this amazing open playground that would be a freestyle mountain biker's dream. With dozens of lines that I could pick out, I can only imagine what someone with serious experience could do here. Rollers, drops, and wall rides were everywhere, and they would blend seamlessly into nature as if made just for us but by no one in particular. I came here expecting to just ride the desert, and it ended up being so much more than that. It was an experience that was filled with history, culture, nature, and of course, awesome riding. It's not often that you get to have an adventure with so much diversity condensed into it in such a short amount of time and space. Unexpectedly, this turned out to be one of my favorite rides ever.
Well guys, there we go. As you can tell, we have the city in sight. This is the end of our ride here in the Sugar Trail. I hope you had fun with me. I will see you for the next one, and happy riding.
So big thanks to Tal and Sababike for the awesome guiding and knowledge on a wide variety of topics. If you want to check out Sababike, I've placed a link in the description. I know I hope to visit again to get some more riding done.
Cool, so now we're really done. I never rode it right after a rainy day, so it's like nothing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun.
I'm always happy to go back to this trail.